Unmuting mics. Live.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and trophy hunters of all ages. This is the 18th episode of the Raw Cuts Gaming Podcast.
Yeehaw!
Woo!
Means we're fully legal now, right?
Yes, we are. We got a lot of legal stuff to talk about today.
Holy.
I'm your host tonight, CJ, a.k.a. the Solo Gamer, a.k.a. the Trophy Hunter. And I'm joined, as always, by Mr. Clothing Optional. He's definitely not a noob. Big D, a.k.a. the Naked Gamer.
That's me.
And we're also joined, as always, by the hot-taking, Twitter beef-making, gamer mediocre himself, Woodsy, a.k.a. the Mad.
Woo!
Woodsy, how you doing?
Oh, it's been a rough one out here. Pimping it easy.
Well, we thank you, the listener, for turning.
Oh, and we got the homie Lucas.
And the homie Lucas.
What's up, Lucas?
Any of you who are just podcast only, audio only listeners, check out the YouTube channel, man. We got the homie Lucas with us tonight.
That's right. And come join us live.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are live now. Shout out to Ryan, probably watching us live.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Ryan.
Hashtag our friend Ryan. We thank you, the listener, for turning into our rarest takes in the gaming podcast sphere. As always, we bring you our own unique takes on all things video games, all while recording and publishing our episodes edit-free. We bring you our podcast, all the listening staples, as always, every Tuesday. You can find those on Apple, Spotify, Google, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Anchor. If you'd like to see our ugly mugs for whatever reason, you can always watch us on the Raw Cuts Gaming channel, or hopefully you're catching us live right now on YouTube. So with all that mumbo jumbo out of the way, boys, this week we'll be going over what we've been playing, the biggest news in gaming this week, which, as you guys might imagine, the huge news coming out this week. The Combat Pack.
What could that be?
The Combat Pack 2 comes out on Thursday, so for Mortal Kombat 11, get hype. We'll cover trophy time this week. Instead of me covering an old game and giving my thoughts on the game, the trophy list, I will give my thoughts on the new trophy system and the progressions. And Woodsy will be giving an update on his pile of shame now that he has a whole new generation of consoles to add to. Although last week we did say that if your pile of shame is 2 games, it's not really a pile of shame.
That's not really a pile.
That's a starter pack.
It's a free starter pack. You get an NBA 2K when you sign up for your My Team or whatever.
That's right.
Okay, so what we've been playing. Big D, what you been playing, man?
Oh, man, as always, a little Rocket League. But we did end up buying Modern Warfare Cold War this weekend, and we played a little Zombies. Did have some odd issues with PS4, PS5 crossplay at night. It wasn't letting us get into our party. It wasn't always starting a match, and it was dropping people out of the party. Same with Zombies. We had to try it like 3 or 4 times before all 4 of us loaded into the same thing. So I don't know if anyone else out there is having that problem, but it was kind of a weird deal. Woods, I'm assuming you guys didn't have trouble with the 3 of you guys on PS5, like you and Bilbo and Ryan.
I didn't play as a threesome from what I recall, but yeah, I know. I mean, so
I'm assuming that was the issue.
You were the only one on the PS4.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure they've just got to work out the kinks. It was nice though that like a game like Rocket League.
That worked right away.
That seamless.
No problem.
Transition. So.
Yep. And then I just beat Deliver Us the Moon, like literally before I came on.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Nice. That's exciting.
For something easy, it's really just a puzzle platformer deal. But it had a very interesting premise. It was actually pretty compelling most of the way through, story-wise. And oddly enough, I'm pretty good at those games, wandering around and making sure I've scanned everything and looked at everything. And I was very amazed to find that I have like 7 or 8 trophies that I did not get. So
Oh wow!
I may take a look at what I've missed and try and pull a CJ and platinum this
So
beat.
I know you talked about this game last week, but how did you come across it? Like what
Yeah,
was
I guess
like?
I don't know if I heard this story either.
I want to say I pulled the woods. I saw it in the on
Just
one
a
of those
random indie
PS
buy?
the PS
Cool.
sales, PlayStation Store sales, and it just the cover art looked interesting, and and then I read the little description of the, it's like 30 years from now and Earth's ran out of power and you've got to beam your ass to the moon and save everybody, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
that sounds okay. Like, I'd maybe
Right.
give that a shot.
Hydrogen 3. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Helium-3, yeah, but it was
Helium 3,
close.
yeah.
But yeah, that was it. But yeah, glad I did it. That was worth whatever it was on sale. It couldn't have been much. $10.
Nice. It's always tricky finding games sometimes. It's discoverability is always they struggle with, because they do all the advertisements for COD and for NBA 2K, and sometimes these games get lost. So yeah.
Yes.
Woodsy, what you been playing?
So, little breaking news for our viewers. I know we had discussed previous episodes, like I secured a pre-order, you had secured a pre-order, and I was very much in limbo. I was going to end up selling mine or not. So I got it delivered on Thursday, and decided after fumbling around on eBay that and I heard some consoles went for like $1,800, $1,600, but when I was selling it, it seemed like the going rate was around $859. And I know I'm not sure if it's down here in the gaming news, but there was some, like, it was crazy. It got national coverage that like people were putting PlayStation 5s up on eBay for $32,000. Nobody was buying them for that. Nobody was buying for that. Like the going rate on the secondhand market was probably around $1,000 at the highest. So I decided, you know what, it wasn't worth the trouble. It was already here in my hands. I'm gonna pop this box. We did an unboxing video. I think I forgot to link that to the YouTube. It's just been a hell of a week with work and stuff at home. So
you mean you're just going to tweet about it?
Yeah, I don't think I tweeted it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. So I'll put that out there on the Twitter, so you can go check it out. Check out my reactions now that they're a few days old. But open that up. Got to play, and this is all on the new console, on the PS5. So played Rocket League, like we were just talking about. That was really nice, and that was the one thing we never really covered or even questioned when we were talking about the lead up to these consoles. For all the conversations we had, we never talked. I don't think the conversation about like, is crossplay going to just work?
Right.
And turns out yes, for being as much of a kerfuffle that has been what is now the previous generation, right? Getting the pressure from Xbox and Switch to pressure PlayStation to start even doing crossplay in the first place, and then allowing PC into the fold. Actually, I think PC was first for Rocket League and PlayStation as far as them conjoining. But yeah, it worked. It worked. Like we hopped in. I was able to get into a party with D, who was still on PS4. We were able to play Rocket League together and Modern Warfare. So that was pretty cool. I also checked out some of the Assassin's Creed games and Star Trek, the Enterprise one, the ones that were on the list of Ubisoft games that were like, yeah, they aren't going to work, but then they retracted that post. So I tested those out, some of them. There are some oddities. It does look like Unity works, which was like the main big game other than Star Trek Bridge Crew. I was able to download and install them both on my PlayStation 5, and I hopped into Unity for probably about 5 minutes just to see if it was running, and it was. And then I actually played a bunch of Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. So this is a bit of an oddity. So when I downloaded, like you can find It says Assassin's Creed Chronicle trilogies, or the trilogy, in like if you search the PlayStation Store in on your PlayStation 5. So it says it's the trilogy. You download it, but the only one that ever actually downloads to your console is China. So the other two aren't working yet. Even though it says the trilogy is installed, they actually only installed one of the three games. And they're kind of cool games for people who've never played them. It's like an Assassin's Creed take on Mark of the Ninja, which is a great arcade game in my opinion, and a great indie title from, I think, was 2011, 2010. That really made its mark on like the 360 PlayStation 3 gen. And that's such a great game, and that's why I really like these games. So I hope they figure out the bugs of the other ones and get them so I can play them on my PlayStation 5. I just don't know if there's that much demand. And I wasn't, like I said, I was able to install Bridge Crew. I didn't pop in there and check it out, but I did get my PS4 adapter, or my PSVR camera adapter. In fact, I got two of them. So for whatever reason, they sent me two.
PlayStation.
Right. Yeah, like them sending the disc drive consoles to the people who actually ordered the digital ones. I'm sure we'll get to that later, but either case, D, you don't even have to order one. I got your back, bro.
Well, I did. I finally got through
okay.
it. Like with everything else, I just gave the shit a minute because the PS5 hadn't even launched yet when we were trying all this stuff. And after all the talk died down, I rolled right in and put my shit in there, and it just clicky, and it all worked fine.
Worked. Good. All right, well, if there's anybody out there who doesn't have one and is still having problems, you pay me a couple bucks for shipping, I'll ship it to you. Just reach out to me over Twitter.
And I'll have one that I can plug into my TV and then pretend I have a PS5. So.
And you can also pretend you are up $50. Because one of the things that didn't happen last week was the PlayStation VR 2.
It did not randomly drop with a VR 2. I kept holding out hope.
So for those...
The shadow drop.
Yeah, for those in the lurch, there's a long-standing bet, probably dating back a year and a half.
Oh,
Big D. The Naked Gamer and I hear about, will the PlayStation VR 2 drop with the PS5? I went with no, D went with yes.
I was more out of hope more than anything else.
Right. Exactly. So, D's out $50, and we're gonna split a nice bottle of alcohol with that 50. But with my PlayStation 5, other than the old games that where I was just checking out from the PlayStation 4 for the backwards compatibility and such, I did, as Dee mentioned, we bought Cold War. I realized today that I had the same problem that some other people had. I accidentally installed the PlayStation 4 version as opposed to the PS5 version.
How did you do that? Was it like an option in there?
I guess, and I must have clicked to install the wrong one. So I uninstalled the PS4 one and fully installed the PS5 one today. Huh. And so what you have to do is when you hover over the game icon in the PlayStation 5 cross media bar, it'll have the ellipsis, the 3-dot ellipsis thing, and you click on that, and it basically tells you which version of the game this is. It actually tells you, I think when you're just looking at the icon, it doesn't say it's a PS4 game if it is a PlayStation 5 game. If it's the PlayStation 4 version of the game, it'll say so, and I think that's what actually clued me in. So anyways, fix that, and then popped in there. We did have some matchmaking problems for the cross generation, and I don't know, and as I didn't play a lot this past weekend, just work and life getting in the way of my new console launch, but I didn't get into their play to see if it was just was it issues because we were trying to play with UD, or was it issues that just that Call of Duty was having on launch weekend, which also wouldn't shock me.
It wouldn't, but I'm assuming it was the cross-gen thing, because I think Ryan had said that he had played earlier in the day and wasn't having any trouble. So
I think Ryan and Bill go play with my brother too, Alex, and they had no problems from recording either. So
now the one thing we hadn't talked about in Call of Duty was their new badass launch menu that is Cold War and Warzone and Modern Warfare all in a single launcher. So if you have them all installed, That's pretty dope. Also, they broke Cold War up into several optionable downloads for people that want to get something rolling at the cost of something else. So,
Right.
for instance, Woods, when you were downloading shit, you just selected multiplayer and zombies to download,
Yep.
and then you didn't all the campaign shit downloaded later.
Yeah, which is nice because now I can go in there and I can beat the campaign and just eject it from my hard drive.
Correct. Yep.
So
Is that also on the PS4D?
Yes, I had all those options as
Oh,
well.
interesting.
So I
That was
really
one of the selling
appreciated
features
it.
on the PS5. But yeah, nice.
the other awesome thing, which our friend Ryan at What Up McNutty did
you,
not
Ryan.
undersell. Same with our homie Bilgo. Is the DualSense's input feedback to firing your guns in that game. Holy shit. So I know we touched on this last week, and I'll touch on it more when I talk about Astro's Playroom here in a second, but holy moly, that is no lie. Like, everybody's been touting the DualSense as like this amazing input system and controller, given its feedback features both audioly and physical, via both the squeezing of the triggers, having various pressure with that, and then the rumble in every aspect of the controller, all from the base of your palm up to and through your trigger fingers. And I have to say, that's dope. That's really dope. And Astro's Playroom did a phenomenal job of showcasing that. Absolutely loved it. It was so cool, especially like when stuff is whizzing by you in certain levels, you're feeling it in your controller, and then like it almost does a surround sound thing with your television where the audio like fades out from your television into your controller, then like sounds like it's actually leaving behind you. And that's not even with like a surround sound system on it. So I think it's absolutely phenomenal how they've been able to incorporate that. So yeah, I think it's great, and we could talk about that more once we talk about the actual console. But I'll hand it off to you, Siege.
Yeah. So I finally finished Final Fantasy VII Remake. So it was the close of the chapter of my PlayStation 4.
No, he's jumping into the next one.
No, exactly. I had a little bit of a different console launch experience than you did, Woodsy. I secured my pre-order from Target. Was all stoked for that and kept not getting shipping updates. And then finally, like even up to the launch day, it kept saying like November 18th. So like a week later, basically. And needless to say, I was quite pissed. I understand shipping problems and whatnot, but I wouldn't have minded it lacking by like a day or maybe two. But to miss that first week of launch and have that full launch experience, I was pretty pissed off about it. But Target came through, and it came on Friday the 13th, so I was just a day late. So I didn't feel totally left out of the loop here, which also gave me a little bit extra time to finish Final Fantasy VII Remake. So pretty stoked about that. I never played the original Final Fantasy VII. I won't spoil it for anyone, but I did go through and listen to a few podcasts, a little spoiler cast about that, and it's amazing because there's a ton of lore packed into these games that I didn't really even pick up on when I was playing the game. And the best kind of synopsis I can give on the game is the name Final Fantasy VII Remake doesn't do it justice. Woodsy, I know you want to hold out till the full game is out. Everyone's kind of questioning where they're going to go, how many games it's going to take. But this is really a retelling of the story. So instead of it being Final Fantasy VII Remake, it should be Final Fantasy VII Remake, where they're literally remaking the story of the game. So there's a lot of the original story beats that it picks up on, but it's a different story, essentially, from what I've heard. So
did you end up getting that plat, or are you just passing that by now?
No, I am passing that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to install it on my PlayStation 5 and do some trophy cleanup on there. There's a few trophies I want to go back and get. But, man, that goddamn pull-up challenge, I just... and then you
you rage quit on that? You put all that time in and you didn't finish it up?
That last week. No, I did that a couple times and I quit. And then also you got to beat the entire game again on hard mode. And I heard, on hard mode, there's a few things like you can't use items and whatnot. So I'm just like, fuck it, man. I got other things to play. So I think I'm not going to pop that plat like I was envisioning. So sad day. Then I also secured the PlayStation 5, like I mentioned. So the first game I had to play was Demon's Souls, which is also the first trophy I popped on Demon Souls, and I'll get into that a little bit later on in trophy time. But man, that game, it's amazing what 2 console generations can do from the original one. I mean, the original one had the muddied out graphics and whatnot, but man, they put so much love and care into this game. It's amazing, and just walking around Boletaria and the Nexus and seeing the retakes on characters. It's pretty much a 1-for-1 retelling of the story, unlike Final Fantasy VII Remake. But man, it is just amazing what they did with this game. I also hopped on down. I also thought maybe with it being the next gen of consoles, I also had my daughter with me. She's 6 years old, and I got her going on the PlayStation 5 a bit. So we downloaded Bugsnax. Kind of this, it's a free PlayStation Plus game out there right now. So any of you out there listening in November, claim that game if you don't have a PlayStation 5. It's a first-person kind of puzzle game where you walk around, kind of like Pokemon Snap, where you go around and take pictures of the Bugsnax, and then you eat the Bugsnax, and then they turn into their arms turn into raspberries or strawberries and French fries and stuff. So we played it for a bit. She didn't really dig to it too much. However, we did dig into Astrobot, and that kid loves that game.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably played more of it than I have, man. So,
oh wow.
Woodsy wasn't lying when he was saying that it's a great showcase for the controller. But what it does is really cool. Is it's a 4-hub world, and each hub is one of the console generations. So you go to and each world is one of the colors of the buttons, the old colors that used to be there. So you go to the blue triangle world, and that's the PlayStation 3. And you pick up artifacts, you find the console and discs,
which are so
peripheries.
Cool.
That is cool.
So cool, man. So many weird peripherals that they fucking you can find, the expandable controller and memory card port. I forget what it's called for the PlayStation 2 and shit. And the original PlayStation Eye camera and stuff. So cool.
The way the levels are designed, there's some of the wall jumps you can make are off of the triggers on the controller. The ropes between areas are the old wired in controller line and stuff. So
hundreds of little Easter eggs too.
Unlimited. All the Astrobots around there, dressed up as various characters and reenacting other scenes.
Wow.
And there's no real threat in the game, really. You die, you load back from a checkpoint immediately. And
it's a good platformer, though. It's got a mild challenge to it.
You've said in the past that Mario, if this was Mario, people would just be over their head over heels for it, And I didn't really buy it because I'd never played Astrobot before. But man, I definitely see what you're talking about with the character and whatnot. You know.
And then this is, it's very much like the Astrobot Adventure VR game, obviously minus the VR component, but it plays very similarly to that. I think it's a little bit more user friendly because obviously it's meant to be. I won't say user friendly. It's a little bit less challenging because it's meant to be a showcase for really the functionality and the controller more than anything else, and I get that. But it's still good. It's a good game. It's just a great game. So,
we actually I threw the VR helmet on my 6-year-old son, and he played Astrobot yesterday.
Yeah,
so
loved it, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, big time.
And Julia, who's my little girl, who's 2 1/4, she came down and wanted to try playing it too. So she was very intrigued.
Yeah, I let Lincoln play a little bit too. I let him hold the controller so you could feel the rumbles and whatnot. And so just
she did the old thing too, where she was trying to take the PlayStation 5 controller, so I gave her the old PS4 one. She's too smart for her own good. She quickly figured out that I was bluffing. I not giving her the real deal. So she took the white controller out of my hand, and then she went up to the TV and started playing. And then she came back over the coffee table, grabbed the old PS4 controller, and goes, "Here, Daddy, you play with this." So she turned the table.
You take this piece of shit.
So I played a bit of Astrobot with my kids. So that was really cool as a gamer to really kind of get her into gaming a little bit. She's played some Switch and whatnot, but she's really taken to Astrobot a lot. So
nice.
So that's what I've been playing. So. Let's get into the news. We got a whole pile of news to cover already, and we've already kind of gone a little bit long in the what we've been playing. So, Big news this week, as I mentioned before, Combat Pack 2. Nope, just kidding. The consoles came out this week. So Xbox came out first on this past Tuesday with their Series X and S. Overall, folks have been pretty happy with it. Not a whole lot of new games to play, but just better performance and snappier, the fun part about having new hardware. But there was kind of a couple of fun anecdotes that came out. D, what did Xbox have to come out and tell people? They were posting on TikTok.
Yeah, there are people going ahead and blowing all kinds of smoke, vape smoke, and I'm sure other kinds of smoke into their Xboxes, and then trying to post pictures that it was like on fire or whatever they were trying to do, and just a bunch of nonsense. And Xbox
trolls.
actually had the perfect tweet for it too. I believe it was quite literally, it said, "I can't believe we have to say this, but don't blow that shit into your Xbox."
Way to go and ruin your
void the warranty.
$500 console, whatever it is.
Yeah, and then there was a bunch of other fake shit too. This one I couldn't believe. It was the ping pong ball. I thought that one was real. We were just talking about it before we went live. They got me on that one.
Super cool.
I said I was gonna buy one
float above there
just to do that. Like I seriously would have. I'm like, that's so badass. And then they are having an issue with their disk drives as well. Not taking discs and noise too.
Disk drives and potential like a fan, because that article, I think it was picked up by Polygon.
Yep.
Or The Verge, one of the two.
And diskless and disc.
Right. Because they posted all the videos, and some of the people were posting it from the S, which obviously doesn't have a disk drive, so it has to be something else. Probably another moving component, which it's got to be the fan then, right?
Yeah,
because it wasn't coil line.
Right.
So.
Yeah, my comment to those you guys when we first saw that article too, like I'm shocked Microsoft's having hardware problems, because I would have thought after the Red Ring of Death disaster that the last thing they would have on console launch would be hardware problems from here on out. So it's a little surprising for me to hear that.
Yeah.
So also the other console dropped this week, the PlayStation 5, the disc and the discless version. So some of the cool features that I loved a lot was the system setup. So when you boot up your PlayStation 5, you go through a couple steps, and then they put a QR code right on screen. So you scan that with your phone, and it, as long as you have the app installed, it just pulls the credentials right from there and pulls in your PSN ID, typing in passwords and that nonsense, and pulls a lot of the settings you want and everything.
Oh my God.
It asks you pull down your PS Plus games from your saves, which I had like 12 gigs of PS4 saves that I pulled down. So
holy shit.
I have a whole bunch of saves up there. Yeah, exactly.
Once you pull those down, are they off your PS4?
No, it just pulls them straight from the cloud.
Okay, so they're just in the cloud for both consoles.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I believe, I guess I haven't checked, because I bet you if I play like X game on my PlayStation 5 and then went back and played it on my PlayStation 4, because the most recent save is in the cloud, I bet you it's automatically going to be on my PS4. I could be wrong, but
I think it's like the backup that's on your saved on your hard drive. But one thing we didn't touch on, I don't think we touched on last week, but shout out to Ubisoft. They get a lot of shit for a lot of correct reasons, but what they've implemented with their Uplay or whatever, where you can, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, if you have both consoles, you can play on one console and then literally just pick up on your Xbox. If you're playing on PlayStation, just pick up on your Xbox literally right where you were, and just so that cross save is very seamless. Wow. So we're definitely headed in the right direction. Sounds like maybe developers are taking this in their own hands versus consoles. But it's kind of a cool feature. Although you do run into some trophy problems, like if you pop a achievement on Xbox and then you go back to your PlayStation, you're boned out of that Achievo trophy, I guess. So
one of the things I thought was cool though too is like it was smart enough. So I started testing out that list of Ubisoft games that may or may not be backwards compatible or whatever first, right? So it ultimately created a couple save files on my PlayStation 5 for Assassin's Creed Unity and blah, 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 as I jumped in. And I did this before I transferred all my save files from the PlayStation Plus cloud. when I did transfer all the save files, it was nice because there was a select all option, and then it knew immediately. Okay, hey, you're about to overwrite like it would like with Windows if you're dropping X set of files into another set of files, the file folder, and you got duplicates. And it's like, hey, which one do you want? Do you want the PlayStation 5 one or do you want the PlayStation 4 one? And you can click yes to all to default it to PS4, which I did. So that was really slick because that helps negate that micromanaging almost entirely. The other thing I think is really understated that you sort of touched on, CJ, is actually how badass the app is. So, like, I get alerts on my phone when a game on my new PlayStation 5 wish list, or and PS4 wish list now, is on sale. I get alerts when my games are downloaded or whatever else. It'll ask me, hey, it's downloaded. Do you want to play it? You click play, and it says, all right, cool. Next time you turn on your PlayStation, it'll be ready to go, rocking and rolling. Same thing with parties. I was invited to a party, says it to my phone. I clicked, yep, join that game. And it was like, all right, turn on your PlayStation controller. It'll be good to go. And I was able to jump in immediately after acknowledging the receipt of that notification on my phone. So that was pretty slick.
That's awesome.
Loved all that. And I'm sure that app has even more to offer that really haven't even begun to figure out yet. So, but
no, the redesign on initial look is nice. Literally the only complaint we've had is still the whole fucked up messages party combo that they shouldn't have done.
Oh, and I have
still so bad.
I have an issue with a bone to pick with that in the next section here. So
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, please. No. It's not regarding that. It's regarding the mute button on some folks' issues.
Yeah. Okay. That was if I was going to say my two gripes. If I had one thing.
Let's save the gripes for the next section. We'll get into that because there's a few in there already that we.
All right.
Yeah. So one of the features that I loved in the new PlayStation 5 that no one's really talking about is I always had problems with adjusting the levels in my headset. I mentioned them as a solo gamer, and I always had a problem with the balance of in-game audio versus chat audio. And even though there wasn't a slider on the PlayStation 4, I could slide it whichever way I wanted, and I never could quite get the right balance of. I always feel like the chat audio always outweighed the game audio. So I'm trying to watch a cutscene. I hear Woods just chuckle house in the background or something, or D talking trash to someone. And I never could quite get that balance right. And with the new PlayStation 5, you can just go to that audio setting, and that slider works like a magic, man. It's
really? Much better.
It's very
fade
nice.
In, fade out.
Oh my god, amazing! Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. So I was really happy with that feature as being kind of the solo gamer, but liking to be on party chat when I'm not too.
I love it how they've integrated that into the UI, where it's just the single press as opposed to the long press on the center button, and you're presented with all those options right beneath the game you're currently playing. It doesn't take you out of the action. It's all right there.
That's awesome.
And it's quick.
That's the nice part.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't undersell the snappiness of it, man. Just in general, not let alone the middle button everywhere throughout the whole console is just snappy and quick to move around, and they did not undersell that. And it's also whisper quiet. I haven't heard my PlayStation, although I'm kind of interested in downloading Last of Us 2 and just hearing if it even pings a little bit, because man, that thing chugged like a leaf blower on my PlayStation 4. So
even with my fan cleaning and update and aftermarket fan, my PS4 is still fairly loud. You hear that thing sucking air like nobody's business.
It's got to get you a few more months here, man, and then you can hopefully make more PlayStation 5s. We'll get you on here.
We'll see if we snag one on Black Friday.
Yeah, we'll get into that too. Was any other features and things you want to call out for the positive side of things?
Yeah, there's just a lot of things about the GUI and everything that I'm just really impressed with in general. It'd be hard to hit on everything, and I think as I haven't, honestly, just because of work and like I was alluding to earlier, life stuff, I haven't been able to spend as much time with that console as I would have liked to. One thing I can confirm though is the reports that came out the week last week about how you play Astro's Playroom for 2 hours and your controller's batteries suck dry. That's not the case at all. I don't think I charged my controller for the first day and a half. So I was playing a mix
in line
of
with the
Call of
DualShock.
Duty, Astro's Playroom, and trying to figure out, the Assassin's Creed things and all that other stuff. So that was overblown. So it makes me wonder if they were doing that stuff pre-controller firmware update or whatever the.
Or someone got a bum controller or something, or who
Yeah.
knows.
Maybe.
So now that there's definitely some issues and feedback. Audio being one of them. Do you want to touch on some of the audio things? I know you don't, but you're kind of our tech guru with some of the Dolby issues.
Oh, well, that's more on the Wood side. He knows a lot more on that, but it's basically Sony didn't pay for the rights to Dolby, which and so they've decided.
Dolby,
what's that?
Well, yeah, the Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, but that's just a licensing deal that they're going to be working out at some point, and it's just a firmware upgrade. So, and Xbox doesn't have it either out of the gate.
Really?
From what I read. Yeah. So
how does that affect if I buy like a Dolby wireless headset right now? Does that not do like the full 3D audio or anything?
Well, I think it does, and I from what I read, there's other headsets other than the official new PlayStation headset that do the Tempest audio.
Okay.
It just has to have the right manufacturing support. And I don't know if like those I don't know if the Tempest audio thing is like a proprietary
Sony thing now.
Sony audio algorithm or what, but yeah. It's. I mean, everything's still a little bit confusing as far as what works with what and how, but from the sounds of it, all this stuff is just going to be coming down the pipe at some juncture or another. But it does have Dolby. It's just not necessarily Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. Dolby Vision is the one I'm, I guess, most longing for, because that's the Dolby visual standard, which is considered by lots of I guess not audio, what do you call movie files, digital files, or whatever, the best, one of the better standards for visual fidelity and everything like that. So
the only other thing that we had audio trouble with there was an odd echo that we kept not being able to get rid of, and I think, Woods, did we ever narrow that down? Did it have something to do with the mic in the controller?
I think that had to do with operator error and how they did not adjust their settings. One member of our party one night, but I will say this: that wasn't odd. It was almost like reverse intuitive, the settings for the to make sure your audio was going, like your game audio would come out of your television, and then your controller or your party audio would come through your headset connected to your controller. So it almost was like the inverse of the intuitive from like how it's set up in the menus. But I wasn't having any problems with it, so I'm going to go ahead and say that's operator error on the part of our comrade Bilgo.
Well, Ryan had it too for a while. Fuck you, Ryan.
Yeah, but I think he figured it out too.
He did.
So
I was just asking which settings those were.
Play around with settings and get it to work right. But yeah, so much to do about nothing there, and I'm sure some of these things will get ironed out in short order. So yeah.
The other audio thing a little bit was the whole, switching from your headset to your controller mic. You got to be a little bit careful on that, because you do have a hot mic on you now pretty much at all times if you're not being careful. Some people have done positive feedback where like they have a wireless headset it dies on them mid-match or something, and all of a sudden it picks up on their controller. I think Blessing was talking about that on KFGD recently, and it picked up his controller so he could just seamlessly keep playing Fortnite while using his controller, trying to navigate with folks and whatnot. However, we did have some problems where dudes were taking their headsets off, and then it automatically would flip over to the controller, and we couldn't get a hold of them.
Right.
And they were having a personal phone call or taking a leak or something, and you know, just things you necessarily want other people to hear.
Forgetting to put yourself on mute, right?
Yeah, exactly. So just like you in your adult life of all your Google Meets and Zoom calls and whatnot. So it's just getting used to that new features of the controller mic being hot.
That's actually like my least favorite part of the controller is the actual middle PlayStation button. I liked the circle that it was.
You know what? I agree with that, Woodsy. I agree with that, at least for now. We'll see if I change my mind on it. But
plus, it's so close to the mute button that like you can definitely fat finger both of them at the same time. So, but yeah, I liked the old DualShock 4 home button.
Circle button, like, because the circle. Yeah, I agree with that. I noticed that also when I was playing. So the hot mic thing you gotta be a little bit careful with. Just kind of learning how to navigate and everything now. It's just one of those new operating system UI features, UXs, just kind of where things are and why they are the way. But any other negatives that you kind of took away? I kind of cut you off earlier. I didn't want to.
No, I mean, other than the stuff that we talked about last week, like the disappointing features that aren't there at launch, like the inability to store games on an external, or like store PlayStation 5 games on an external drive, even if you necessarily can't play them off. At least they're there and they can transfer back and forth. You don't have to like re-download them or whatever, right? But to their credit, some things are working like straight away that I wasn't necessarily expecting. Like for instance, like both with PlayStation VR and with your other backwards compatibility PS4 games, they all get like basically a benefit out of the box, even without necessarily a specifically catered software update that enhances their load times, their frame rates, and the resolution. So that's dope. That wasn't. I didn't know that all that stuff would be enhanced right away. I know that was something that they were touting over on the Xbox side, but it's glad to see that it also works for PlayStation right away too. So yeah.
Another kind of, I haven't tried it yet. I don't know if you've tried it Woodsy yet or not, but just plugging your external hard drive apparently works for your PlayStation 4 to your PlayStation 5, but I haven't had the time or the effort to try that out yet.
Yeah. So I haven't tried it because I've heard some sketch things about like
exactly.
There's people out there who are straight up being like, don't do it until it's fixed because
what happened?
So you plug in so there's quite a few different things that may or may not be happening, but like there's issues with it rebuilding the database, if weird shit where it's causing stuff to like break down on a code level.
Yeah.
And in one case it it got so bad it ended up bricking some dude's console. Granted, he already has worked it out with Sony. They're going to send him a new one, blah 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 blah, which whatever. But they gotta figure that all out.
Lame.
What I might do is just format my external hard drive that I was using on my PS4, as painful as that might be, and then start anew rather than try to
just
fuck around.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do too. I've been like dragging my feet on this, and I don't want to run the risk of that. And maybe it'll help me clean off some of these garbage games on there anyway. Not that it,
well, and also to be quite frank, I feel like I almost should anyways because of the lack of folder system, and that's one thing I need to figure out. Like one of the first on the cross media bar, like one of the first games I installed was Modern Warfare, but it's not on my active cross media bar. And I know like on the PS4, you could like it would only go so wide, and then it would start hiding them. So I wonder if that is like, and you had to actively turn that off, that thing. So I
Oh,
wonder if it's
interesting.
doing the same or not. Um, but I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, lack of folders is in another, like, is a really weird oversight for them to make, insofar as the GUI. That's my really only major complaint about the UI, is the lack of folders, because I should be able to immediately chuck PlayStation 4 games into one folder, PlayStation 5 games into another folder, and bifurcate it even more from there if I want
I
to.
would love
So
doing that subfolders. Yeah, that'd be great.
yeah.
Totally agreed. Okay, so gaming wise, do you want to touch any more on Astrobot? I know we kind of touched on it a bit before, but anything more you want to say about Astrobot before we um,
No, it's good. It's charming. Great launch
end
title.
COD?
Great
Yeah.
that it's free. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we kind of touched on most of the game we played. I have not booted up Fortnite yet. I'm actually kind of itching to boot it up just to try to do the boot right from the right into the multiplayer mode, right from the home tile or whatever. Demon Souls. One thing I want to touch on Demon Souls that I didn't before was there's always these crazy communities around the Souls games and whatnot, and they're like I mentioned before, Blue Point made kind of a one-for-one recreation of the original game and very true to form. However, they did add a door that is locked that no one can figure out how to get into right now. So I know you guys aren't in this community, but everyone in the Souls community is
Mm.
frantically figuring out how to unlock said door. And there was a similar door in Bloodborne where based on like people would build like recreations of the world of Bloodborne, of Yarnum, whatever, and they basically determined that this door makes no sense of where it is and leads nowhere, and the door ended up just being kind of a red herring that doesn't go anywhere. However, the door in Demon Souls, people have been able to use a photo mode to figure out that there's an item hidden behind the door. So it's clearly meant to be open unless they're just really trolling you, which is definitely plausible. But yeah, so it's right now it's the hot thing in the Souls community right now, trying to figure out how to open this damn door. So
What have they all tried thus far to open it? Like just
yeah, so a few things. Blue Point made the game. They also did the remake for Shadow of the Colossus. There was a hidden door added to that game also. And in Shadow of the Colossus, you can collect coins in the remake, at least edition of it. And if you had 72 coins on your person, the door would open. So people have been trying to like track down coins, just think if it's the same thing, or they've been tracking down items or levels or the various character levels or builds and whatnot. And so far, the folks who are out there doing the hard work are these genius level Souls players who know all these weird things like collecting coins and whatnot, and no luck so far. So yeah, so we will see if maybe next week they crack the old Da Vinci code here in the Souls and that they can get that door open. So
you can buy the DLC.
yeah, it's a door to the DLC. That's the same thing. What's it? Dark Souls 2 did, where they had these various cathedral points around the map, and then all of a sudden the DLC is what they use as warp points. So very well plausible. So now we mentioned that I have my console. Woods has his console. D is trying to get his hands on one. So D, what are some options for getting a console other than paying $32,000 on eBay?
Yes, if you're an unfortunate person that clicks that button, I don't feel sorry for you. No, there's plenty of people you can follow on Twitter. We follow Wario64. I just saw one today that I signed up for. It was like man, I gotta find it now. It was like PS5 something. PS5 restock. And
nice.
PS5 stock alerts is the one I found. And so apparently they let you know when any of them have them in stock. Kind of like Wario, I'm assuming. But
Right.
the direct.playstation.com, their store, they seem to be doing something with once a day. They'll fire the queue up, and because if you're in the store and you reload, it'll dump you in some sort of queue. And I'm assuming the lucky people that it lets through get to go order theirs right from PlayStation. Walmart had been doing it daily, but I think they're all the way out now, and I think everyone's done till Black Friday. at least for online sales. What I did notice though is at the retail stores, specifically Target, they will get a handful of them a day, and if you get there at open, they are actually, because my wife actually went, she was trying to secure it, but it sounds like they do a real nice job avoiding people being shitty, and the people at Target will come outside, and if they've got X number, it's 3, they take the 3 first people in line, and you get to come inside right to the service desk, and then they'll check you out right there. So there's no effing around running Jingle All the Way style to beat each other up to get the PlayStation.
COVID times.
That's right. So I'm sure they wanted to avoid all that nonsense. But in person at Target, I don't know. Woods, I'm not sure you either if you've heard if Best Buy is doing similar things. But I haven't heard that you can go get one physically at anywhere else.
I've heard.
I honestly I haven't paid much attention since since I secured the bag.
Yeah, that's fine.
But since like last Friday, I've kind of tuned a lot of that noise out. I know. Supposedly, a lot of stores are going to have it feels like they're saving their stock for actual Black Friday now. From some things I've read, really, it looks like rather than just like random throwing them up on the online retailers, I feel like a lot of these retailers are actually like reloading their guns entirely, and saving up for just a massive stock dump on Black Friday. But I could be wrong.
Man, I hope they do it that same way, where they walk people in, because like you said, Siege, we do have a pandemic going on, and 100 people, clawing over each other. Yeah.
On Black Friday, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, and it sounds like a big ploy to get people wandering around the store. And I don't like that.
I agree. I've heard GameStop will have them. I mean, I think they had some Xbox Series X's on launch day, so you might want to try that.
I think they posted on Twitter today, GameStop will have them Black Friday.
Yeah. And then, the bundles, but the bundles are always, man, they're just like, hey, here's buy PlayStation 5 and buy Miles Morales and buy, what'd you say, D? A Sony 900H.
Yeah, it was Costco. Costco Canada had one that it was the PS5 with the disc. It came with an extra controller, I believe. It came with Miles Morales. It came with the PS5 headset and like one or two other things. Yeah, it was nuts. I was like, holy shit, and bundle. Oh, yeah. And it came with a fucking Sony X900H TV.
Right.
Like, it was like a $1,700 bundle, but you get all this shit with it. And I was like, well, that's not a terrible bundle.
Right.
Too bad our Costco doesn't have one.
So be on the lookout there, folks. We have Black Friday coming up next week of when we're recording this, and don't go out to stores, but do kind of keep your head in the swivel for the old Wario 64. Don't follow the PS5 restock until D secures a bag. Then you can secure it all you want.
Yeah.
Or get two, and I'll buy one from you.
I'm definitely trying to.
I will give you an extra $50. I won't give you.
I don't need any extra money, man. I just need maybe just some smoked meat.
Oh,
we can. Yeah, so it can make that as a trade. So Woodsy, now you just dumped us in the dock here. So what's going on with Xbox and Bethesda?
So there's an article that popped at around 8:40 Eastern time today that I thought was a little interesting. So it's further clarification by Xbox about what are they going to do with their massive Bethesda acquisition and all those games. So they have definitely left the door wide open for those games coming to Switch or whatever Nintendo console may exist in the future, and the PlayStation 5 as well. However, they're stating that it is the directive that these games should be either first, better, or best on the Xbox platform, whatever that means. So I could take that away from several different. I mean, launch exclusives sounds likely. Better or best, maybe that implies some exclusive content that, or maybe like some extra DLC that wouldn't see the light of day at other consoles. but I hope it doesn't imply like them nerfing these games on the other consoles, like purposefully producing a downgraded version, because that just seems like, I mean, I get it. Like if some extra content in the way of like cosmetics or like maybe an additional multiplayer mode or DLC pack that you can't access through the PlayStation. I get that. That's all well and good. They own the shit, so let them. But like if what that actually means is it would be like a dumbed down or degraded, unoptimized version, that'd be kind of, I don't know, that'd be weird. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the future of that holds. One other spot of news we didn't have on the list that I just wanted to bring up because it got me excited when I read about it today, and then I just read that it was actually fake. But one of my favorite games of all time, Time Splitters 2. There was a leak from a game called Spell 3, I believe. Oh, shoot, the article just failed on me. Sorry, 1 second, I apologize. So there was an item placed in a game by an in-game merchant on a THQ Nordic game called Spellforce 3 Fallen God, and where this merchant is selling like fake disc boxes for games, and one of them was Time Splitters 2 Remastered, so the internet went into a frenzy, myself included, thinking that this is really coming. But then they also had some other fake box titles in there, and they said it was just like an Easter egg. So hopefully it's coming, because THQ owns the rights to that series now. But alas, I'm still a little sad. Anyway, on to the main news again. Sorry.
So D, you kind of put this in here. Fortnite's legal battle update. So what's the latest? What's going on with Fortnite?
Oh boy. So another chapter in the saga. So they announced today, probably hashtag as expected, but basically if you have any V-Bucks that are locked away on Apple devices, Epic will basically honor that, and they'll give those back to you in the as V-Bucks in Fortnite on a different platform. So yeah. So
Wow.
yeah. So I just have some gut feeling on this. Just for younger people, I would imagine that this would disqualify them from wanting an Apple product in any way, shape, or form. And so if I were Apple, I'd probably start treading lightly here. I know it was all because they didn't want to set a precedent for people cutting into their whatever insane, what was it, 30 or 40% margin for doing absolutely nothing, particularly when there's a bigger market out there. So having access to the Apple market isn't what it used to be. So surely they could have negotiated something, Apple exclusive content, like something in exchange for giving up a little bit of that margin, versus this whole blown up thing that they have now. But now that basically Epic keeps giving them the finger, and so at least in the public space wise, I would think that the overall view is that Epic's kind of winning this pissing match, even if they don't get to pull away completely with the Epic Store from Apple. They could simply just pull it off iOS and not really lose much money, I would imagine. So any other giant game on there that all of a sudden wants to play hardball with Apple once they're too big, that's the precedent they're setting now, instead of just setting some sort of line in the sand, which is, hey, once you guys rake in $1 million a year or something like that, yeah, we'll sit down and talk to you. So that's what we got there.
Yeah, it sounds like two bunch of big corporations just throwing mud at each other, man. So we'll see how it shakes out. The other kind of big corporation, Capcom, had a major data leak. Some interesting information came out, some unfortunate information came out. Sounds like they got hit with some ransomware, and some people got doxxed, which is horrible and sucks and should never happen. However, some interesting information that came out on the it's not positive side of things, but sounds like their RE4 is coming to VR, which would be kind of cool for folks. One of the most beloved games in that franchise. There's the Ace Attorney complete editions coming to PlayStation 4. Some other interesting information came out too, because it wasn't just gaming information and folks information. Like, apparently PlayStation paid $5 million for the RE7 VR exclusivity deal.
Oh.
So it's kind of interesting to see what some of these deals are that companies work out with developers, whether it's PlayStation or Xbox and whatnot. So you can kind of see kind of the peek behind the curtain a bit. And one of the more yucky things that come out of this whole thing was like some of the internal marketing information was leaked about how they want to like target certain influencers and how they want to how they're going to use that to leverage like giving them lifetime boosts and things like that, and things these folks get, but you can really see how they really kind of target these people, influencers in particular. So you kind of know those kind of things are going on, but just to kind of read about it, how it's specifically marketed internally, is always kind of shitty.
Confirming what some people already thought and assumed, anyways. Yeah.
So Capcom got hit with a major data leak this week.
Shit happens.
So that shit does happen. So that's it with the news. So now getting into the trophy time. So
Woo! Trophy.
I have been so excited to see how the new trophy system was going to work. One of the things that was kind of confirmed, but they never really go into detail with it as much as you'd wanted to as a trophy horse myself. Trophies are now tracked in game in situations where it makes sense, and even other ones where you're kind of progressing through a level of how much of the level you have left and whatnot. So when I was playing with my daughter on Bugsnax, I was like, man, I've been playing this first opening world for quite a while, and we were taking it kind of slow, but then you go into like the card and it says, hey, you got 40 minutes left on this level based on the pace you're playing at. So I thought that was kind of cool to see actually in action. And also like trophies being tracked, such as like, hey, how many rings have you attained in Demon Souls? But I've gotten 3 of the rings so far, 3 of the however many 22 rings or whatever it is. So you see that on the card. You also see a progression meter in the little trophy card. So like instead of being 100% of the trophy complete, it shows you that you're a third of the way there, or a quarter of the way there, or however much you've gotten. Shout out to psnprofiles.com. That's the trophy site that I always use.
I joined that this week. It is nice. It's badass, man.
You can get in the weeds of like tracking your stats and like when you pop trophies, which days you pop trophies. You see your trophy progression, but also you can look up guides on there. That's what I predominantly use it for. But on that site also, it shows you that the tracking of the numbers, not just whether you've popped it or not. So it's kind of cool to see it in there. Another bit of trophy news is trophy clips are saved. So they showed this in the demo, but you can set it to save it to 15 or 30 seconds. And I wasn't quite sure how that would work, but it just saves it to your clips files, and it puts a nice little border around the trophy. And so my first trophy I popped was in Demon Souls, so you get it for beating the first boss. So It showed me fighting the first boss and showed me the last few
I saw your
rounds
Twitters.
of me. Yep, I tweeted it out, and I added the Raw Cuts Gaming, so you want to go check it out. So you can see me beat the boss, and I'm so used to the screenshot that happens. I beat the boss, and I immediately just flip my character around so I could stand in front of the boss and see like dice or whatever. So you can see me kind of flip around and whatnot, my nerdiness. So still saves screenshots. I've been we talked to our friend, our friend Ryan.
Fuck you, Ryan.
And he said he turned off saving video clips. I don't blame him, because if you save 15-second video clips for all the trophies you get, your hard drive is going to fill up extremely fast. So what I think I'm going to do.
Do those save to the cloud, Joe? Did they get
No,
to the cloud?
think so. And that's one of the things that I wanted to touch on was I don't think it does. I haven't confirmed that yet or not. I wish you could back those up to the cloud.
Because all the photos do, right? All your photos.
They also go on your hard drive too.
Yeah, see, now I wish that they would put in something like what Google Photos has, and I'm sure Apple does this too, but basically if you're auto backing those up to Google Photos, like there's just a button you hit to clear out your local device, and then it just through the app you still get to pull all those down. So there's literally zero reason the PlayStation couldn't do that also.
Or so you get 100 gigs of save storage. And I thought maybe you could, that's your storage, maybe you could put it up there or something. Or I wish you could save them to the external hard drive, because I would like to save some of these
There you
clips.
go.
So I think so whatever they figure out this external hard drive,
Quickly.
kind of streamlines
Figure
a
it
bit.
out quickly.
Yeah, I know, you know how big corporations move. Nothing's quick. Um, but I think I want to turn it on for games that I care about. Like maybe I'll leave it on for Demon Souls, but then I'll kind of micromanage it and turn it off when I'm not playing that, because I don't need to save my bug snacks, trophy clips, and
Oh,
whatnot.
come on, man. Now, were you able to take it down, like the amount of time it was using?
So yeah,
clip?
so I looked into that, and you can only pick between 30 and 15 seconds. 30 seconds are off. I kind of when I'm doing like 5 seconds. The 15 seconds is kind of cool for the boss fight, where I'm just kind of like going hard in the paint. But these like little piddly trophies where you're just like collecting things or killing your first character in Astrobot, or knocking your first character down in Astrobot and whatnot. You don't necessarily need 15 seconds of that. But yeah, so it's 15 or 30 seconds. So you can do it a little bit, but you can not much. Let's see. The trophies now display horizontally in the UI. So in the past, you'd go to a game and it just lists all the trophies in a row. Now they're like in little card formats, and it shows the progression and whatnot. So, I kind of like that and whatnot. Let's see, what else did I have here? Trophies sync faster, and the redesigned app. So we touch on the app a little bit more, but trophies in app, now it shows a little more information. Like it has your most rare trophy in there, it sorts that to the top, and some additional information there. So yeah. So overall, I am pretty stoked with the new trophy system in the PlayStation 5. So, Woodsy, what is on your pile of shame? What's the latest?
What else did you buy? You bought Call of Duty.
Oh my god! Well, I bought Call of Duty. I just added that to the pile. There's a number of other games too that are kind of in my cart right now. The sales this week are just ridiculous. Sorry for getting distracted. Oh wow! Brian Hoyer Nick Foles just got crushed in the game. Anyway, but number of games are in my cart right now. I'm gonna be spending a bunch of money. One of those games is Vader Immortal. Can't wait to play that on PlayStation VR. What else do I actively have in my cart right now? Let's check, shall we? Let's go to the tape.
Go to the tape.
Oh, my card has changed. All right. Aspire 1 VR Operative. That looked cool. It's like just kind of a neat VR looking game where you're kind of stealthy in it. Ni no Kuni 2, I'm going to buy that on digital because it's fucking $9. The Grand Theft Auto trilogy with 3 Vice City and San Andreas, I've been toying with buying this for a while, and it's always like the lowest you ever see it on sale is $17.50. And I'm jonesing to play Vice City again for some reason.
Oh, I loved that game.
And I kind of want to pull that trigger, but I'm also fearful that I feel like, are they gonna like remake or remix that at some juncture soon? Because it's been now
long time.
But it has been optimized for the PlayStation 4 and stuff. I'm just kind of curious if they're going to do another one with that, or like a remastered edition. Who knows? Might just buy it anyway. We'll see. But yeah. So, and I apologize to all of our peoples who were looking forward, all of our millions and millions of fans who were hotly anticipating the live stream of Sniper Elite 3 this week or last week. Didn't happen. I apologize. I'm going to do it this week. Hopefully a little later in the week when things calm down at work and everything. Promise to God I'll do it this week, or I
get to cut off a tip of your dick. Right?
Done.
What was that deal?
Yeah. That's the Woods is gonna for sure do it, because then he's gonna be down to a quarter inch. It does. So
It's all tip.
it's all tip.
Oh, my
Just the
goodness.
tip. There's new meaning to just the tip.
Yeah, right.
Um,
It's like a triangle down there.
So yeah, I'll be doing that at some point this week. So stay tuned for that. Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, so with that, I believe that concludes our 18th episode of the Raw Cuts Gaming Podcast.
Yeah.
We thank you, the listener, for putting up with our bad commentary and our rare or juicy takes on all things video games. We hope you join us each and every week for more Raw Cuts Gaming. If you'd like to take part of the conversation or tell us how much you hate us, we definitely encourage you to reach out on the Twitters at Raw Cuts Gaming. If you'd like to watch a podcast I touched on earlier, check us out on YouTube on the Raw Cuts Gaming channel. And, as always, the Gmail is open, rawcutsgaming@gmail.com. Hit us up on the emails if you want to send in a question. We'll read it to you on the show.
Question about porn. Answer any and all questions.
With that, D, where can people find you at?
I'm at NakedGamer84 on the Twitter machine with the birds. And I am at noob_NakedGamer on Twitches. And I will also try and do a better job of being online. We've had our one friend in the party too much, and he can't be on the air.
And we'll all do a better
Gotta
job
fix that.
at tweeting and liking and showing you news because we got to do a better job about that. And
We need a social media manager.
God damn.
Indeed.
Nonsense.
Where's
We all
he-
have jobs and babies.
Yeah, I know. Children's. Woodsy, if people want to get a hold of hear your hot takes and watch your Twitter beef makes, where can people find you at?
They can find me and the homie Lucas at Woods_or_Watts. He's giving me the death stare.
Oh, he sure is. He says,
Don't
let me
you
sleep,
bring
you
me into
bitch.
this shit, that boy. That's what he's thinking. Yeah. But yeah, Woods_or_Wads with a Z at Twitter, and then at Raw Cuts Gaming on Twitch. So.
And if you want to find me, your resident trophy hunting host, you can find me on Twitter at CJ Rindall.
Night, everybody. Thanks,
We'll
Mom.
see you guys next week. Thanks, guys.
Hey, fuck you, Ryan.
One last fuck you for the road, eh?
Hashtag our friend Ryan.
Hashtag our friend Ryan.
We'll see you guys.
Love you. What up, McNutty?